All right, hey guys, welcome to e-learning day 3. Today we're gonna channel the spirit of one of my favorite artists, Ed Big Daddy Roth. He was a real larger-than-life character who completely self-taught. All right, when I was thinking about what to do today, I was really thinking about, what are my students going through? And as a self-taught, professionally taught, everything in between taught artist myself, I know how hard it is to learn on your own. So in the Google Classroom, I actually put a link to Ed Big Daddy Roth's Wikipedia page. He was essentially the founder of custom car culture. So hot rods, rat rods, you could even extend that to the lowrider culture. These are things I grew up thinking were fun to draw. I would typically go to the library after school. They had the magazines and I would go through these magazines. I would just draw. So what we're going to do today is I put together 4 images. That's it. If you guys want, you could do your own Google search for this stuff. But I have 2 things. The first part of the demo is I'm going to just run through constructive forms. Then the second part of the demo, I'm going to do some quick poses, and it's going to be rat rods. My technique is I start with the negative space drawing, and then once I complete the negative space drawing, I go back in, I punch things up with constructive forms. You guys are free to do that. You address this however you want. Embrace your inner Ed Roth. Go your own way. Once you finish, go ahead, I put all this in the Google Classroom. I think I asked for something like 3 constructive cubes, 2 cylinders, and 2 shapes of your own, or 2 forms of your own choosing, and then run through the slideshow. I would spend between 1 and 3 minutes on each drawing. These are quick poses. So once you have the constructive shapes done, once you have your quick draws done, your quick sketch, once you have everything in your blood, I want you to maybe design your own rat rod, car, monster truck, whatever you want, and post that in our Google Classroom feed. I'm really excited to see what you guys come up with. So, with that being said, happy drawing. Alright, so constructive forms. Constructive forms are built starting with shapes. So if I want to build a constructive cube, it wouldn't surprise me if you guys have already done this before on your own. You draw one flat surface, one plane, and then you draw the exact same size shape, flat surface behind it. The big thing to keep in mind is that each line has a job, okay? My vertical lines, they describe height. My horizontal lines, they describe width, and my diagonal lines, they describe depth. Now, as long as all my horizontal lines are parallel, all my vertical lines are parallel, and all my diagonal lines are parallel, each line is gonna do its job. It's gonna describe something that's 3-dimensional. This would be a cube, and maybe you want to draw a cylinder. So we've all done the cylinder where we kind of wing it. We draw one ellipse, we draw a second ellipse, and then we connect. This is fine and dandy if you have been doing a lot of drawing, but what I kind of want to highlight is there's a way when you do a cylinder to show your math. Squares and circles, they have a relationship, okay? I'm not a math teacher, so do not ask me to explain the math behind this, but I do understand one little thing about it, okay? If I take this square, and if I find the center point of each side, okay, center point, this square tells me where a perfect circle would touch it at all 4 sides, so observe. Now, nothing I do is perfect, nothing you do is perfect, so you got to bear with me a little bit here. But these 4 points are the tangencies of the circle, Mr. Seidel. Why is that important? I'm so glad you asked, I'll tell you. So, if I take this plane, this flat surface, and instead of describing it with vertical and horizontal lines, I describe it with vertical and diagonal lines, okay? I'm giving you the idea that this plane is going back in space, hopefully. But the deal is, the rules are the same. So if I find the middle points, okay, and there's almost like a line in there, parallel, 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 and then I find the midpoint here, okay, I can draw an ellipse, but this ellipse represents a circle that is laying down, all right? Now, what if I drop some vertical lines to describe height, another diagonal line to describe depth, another, I'll draw through so you can see through, and then boom, boom, there, another ellipse. All right, there we go. There is my, maybe go like that, give you guys a little more information. There is my cylinder. Now, why is this important? Let me show you. If I wanted to, I could take my cube, I could add a cylinder, all right, and right there, bring these up, and look at that. I now have a cylinder that attaches to a cube. Maybe I cut out of it a little bit more, and look at that. It's like, let's call it a stove. I got like a little stove here going. So what we're going to do after we do some quick draw with those rat rods is we're going to try to take our cylinders and our squares and we're going to try to make our own like custom car. So let me just do a really quick, like it's nothing fancy, just example. So I would say the cab of the car might have to be about yay tall, yay wide, and yay deep. And then what do you say we put in a alright, so I got those. Okay, bring that over. Okay, it's one big cylinder that I'm kind of ghosting in, but then I'm gonna put that in. That goes under the cab. Alright, we'll knock that in. Describe to the viewer that that is in its own space. Got this over here. Alright, we got a hubcap, we got the chassis. Chassis goes back, swings all the way up. Okay, those contours catch each other. And then we got this back wheel in the back. Now again, I'm using some very simple values. I ran out of space, darn it. Some very simple values. Pick up this, look at that. See how I picked up those diagonal lines? I'm saying it goes further back in space. Pick up this horizontal line, and there we go. There's my super simple, let me put in a windshield. There we go. Super simple, super, you know, I haven't even looked at the rat rod pictures yet, so this is just my first grab at it. But in a second, I'm going to quick draw some rat rods. Now, when I quick draw these, I'm not using constructive forms. I'm going to try to lean on what we worked on yesterday, which is the negative space drawing. So I'm going to try to use that negative space tool to start my drawing. I'm going to draw observationally, and then after I get a good observational foundation, I'm going to maybe punch it up a little bit of construction.